Good morning, you building safety beautiful professionals. It's me again, Rachel Patterson, here with the CodeComply Connect team, bringing you a very new, very special, brand new series related to the upcoming CodeComply Summit 2025. I'll introduce my guests here in just a moment. I am your CodeComply coordinator, and then I will be bringing on our VP of ICC CSOC, Mr. Pete Roquet, and our very special guest, Lorena Souls, to start us off on this awesome new series related to CodeComply Connections, where we give you a first look into your instructors, your vendors, your sponsors, and everything magical related to the 2025 CodeComply Connect. Pete Roquet, would you like to take it away for us and introduce yourself?
Awesome, and thank you, Rachel. Hi, Lorena, how you doing?
I know.
And everybody out in the internet world. We're bringing the ICC CSOC Code Comply Conference, which is the first one of its kind, 2025 in Orange County, California. It's Garden Grove, the Hyatt Regency in Orange County. Everybody says it's the Hyatt of Anaheim, but it's actually the Hyatt of Garden Grove. Awesome city. I spent some time there. So for you guys that don't know, ICC CSOC is the code enforcement chapter of Orange County. It was established back in 2019. We are focused on providing up to date national training. It's a group of that started off similar to Educode in Las Vegas, where it started off as Southern Nevada. We started off in Orange County. We're now expanding. We have a lot of interest in people wanting to start their own chapters in code enforcement in California and looking at a national. The national conversation. There's a lot of new chapters out there, such as ACE is now a national chapter of code enforcement, and so it's exciting times. We're looking to standardize this whole conversation, and yeah, so we're inviting you to our first annual Code Comply Summit in at the Hyatt in Orange County, and we just can't wait.
Yep. So again, that's going to be July 22nd through the 24th. Right now, we have about 48 amazing classes brought to you by, again, one of our amazing instructors right here, Miss Lorena Souls. We'll again get to your class and all of the amazingness about you, and we cannot wait for you to connect with us today, but also at our summit. So again, good morning to both of you. Thanks for being on. This is our very first episode. So bear with us as we figure out what our vibe is going to be and move forward. So Miss Lorena, I would love to introduce you, but Pete sometimes just does a better job of that. So good morning, and thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Hey, so Lorena, I met Lorena many years ago. Me and Lorena actually did a stint together in the city of Garden Grove. At that time, I was the code enforcement supervisor, and Lorena was the permit center supervisor. We met back then. We both had big aspirations to do amazing things in the industry, and I think we both kind of leveled up and pushed each other to a certain place. Same thing with you, Rachel. When I met you, different person. Now you're the coordinator of our Code Comply Summit. So I'm very appreciative of the partnerships and networking that we've done over the years to get us to a new place. So, just to tell you a little bit of Lorena, Lorena's been a great friend of mine for many years. Got her out there to talk to some women leadership classes a couple years ago. She did an excellent job. She is an expert at accessibility, and one of the things that I've observed over the years is that she has this knack to just empower people to push themselves to grab new certifications such as CASP. Correct me if I'm wrong, certified accessibility specialist. Is it practitioner? Is
No,
it
the specialist, the SPS
specialist?
part.
Oh, see, yeah, yeah, I'm close, but it's a biggie, especially in California. Everybody says that's the bar of the building industry because it's such a hard exam. And I think to date, it's only been 1,000 something people that have actually obtained that certification, and a lot of them are expired. But there's a handful of people that carry that designation, and Lorena's one of them. And watching what she's done in her career is just amazing. We're gonna have her share that story with us. But that's one of the reasons that we asked her, her presence in our industry and teaching for the LA Matrix the LA Basin chapter matrix over the years, and sharing her experience and knowledge and wealth of information. It's been amazing to watch, and we don't get a lot of that in the code enforcement world. So this is why we brought Lorena into it. So Lorena, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing today, and a little bit about the course, and how you got hooked up with folks like me and Rachel here.
Well, thank you for both reaching out to me and inviting me to participate in the summit. I'm really excited about it. A little bit about me. I'm the chief building official for the city of Redondo Beach. I've been there for approximately 3 years now. And so, Pete, when you and I met in Garden Grove, I believe I had just obtained my CASP certification. So I was a fairly new CASP and had probably about a grueling 6 months into really hardcore studying for that exam. Another thing, shortly thereafter, obtaining the certification, I really wanted to continue my studies and to achieve my CBO certification. And luckily, I have some good mentors in my life that help me and push me to, keep studying and just moving forward. So it's been great. Some of the things that I've seen along the way is, when you are studying, you need to carve out time, and so there's a lot of other life situations you have to put on hold when you're trying to achieve and accomplish something. But there's definitely, I'm looking forward to the summit class and sharing some of those techniques.
Yeah. And the class that Lorena is speaking to is studying for ICC exams, which is slating to start on the 22nd of July at 10:15. So we'll talk a little bit about how you can access that particular training, whether that be in person or online. You'll have some opportunity to see Miss Lorena in action, helping us understand how she was able to get from point A to point B. And it's truly through understanding the code books and understanding how to take those exams. I couldn't be more excited to take your class, because I think what people get frustrated or concerned about when it comes to ICC certifications is truly just the exam itself. A lot of us know how to navigate the book or navigate the codes, but we don't necessarily know the proper techniques for taking that class and being successful at it. So I myself have a whole list of things that I'm looking to get out of your class and very excited for it. So thank you for putting that on for us. And thank you for the knowledge that you give to our industry. I know that, a lot of Pete talked about your expertise and your knowledge, but one thing that I know people know about you, but I want to ensure is that Lorena is a genuinely kind, wonderful individual. And in this industry, sometimes it's hard to come across those individuals that are willing to allow you to light your candle in their flame. And Lorena is one of those individuals who gives back to the industry, who gives back to women, and who is just genuinely a good building safety professional and overall human. So we're very excited to showcase your class, Lorena. Very excited to showcase you as our very first instructor to be on our series. So again, thank you. And I couldn't be more excited for the summit itself, but just to see where you continue to take us. You are an absolute amazing role model, mentor, friend, you name it, Lorena. So thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
And one of the things that we really want to highlight is, we want, when we're doing this show, one of the things that we want to do is, we don't want to give the whole content away, because Lorena has, if you ever seen Lorena's binder, she has like a million tabs, and a bunch of highlights and stuff like that. I borrowed one of her books one time to take an exam, and it was like, wow, you gave me the playbook, but she does a lot. So but so she'll give you those. But one of the things that might be important to people is, hey, how do you what do you look for when you're actually when you are focused on an exam? Because I know you're a CBO, but you have other certifications through ICC and through CASP. One of the what's one of the primary things that you do to focus on that particular? How do you pick which exam you're going to tackle? How do you say, hey, I want to be a plans examiner, I want to be a building inspector? How do you make that decision, and how do you prepare to start that journey?
Well, I think it goes back to where you're at in your career. For those that are preparing for ICC exams, I can speak to when years ago I was a permit technician. I wanted to be a residential plans examiner, so I wanted to prepare myself for the ICC residential plans examiner exam. So it just, I think you have to kind of know where you're at in your career and what exam that you want to prepare for. So I think everybody in our industry knows if you want to be a code enforcement officer, obviously you want to take a code enforcement exam, right, through ICC or a building inspector. So once you know that, the first thing you got to do is log on to ICC, see what materials you need, and then see what the requirements of that exam are. They may have 20 questions in administration, maybe 20 questions in technical, and there's different questions and different levels, different percentages. So you really need to be aware so that you can prepare your studies. So I go into that conversation in the class that I'll be teaching, and just so that people can really take the time to understand the exam that they're gonna take. One of the things that I recommend is just take the exam like cold feet. See what it's like. Don't put the pressure on yourself, because I have always been really stressed at taking exams, but now that I'm more used to taking them, now I'm like, oh no, I'm just going to take it to see where I'm at. And then you kind of gauge your studies. And for those that have already, maybe you're preparing for your CBO or you're preparing for a building inspector and you've already taken it, and let's say you didn't pass, well, don't be hard on yourself. Like that's the stepping stone. Now you know where you need to improve upon. So you use that to guide your studies. And that's kind of how I do it. It's like, you just have to stay positive and enjoy the journey, because it's a journey, and it's the journey for your career. It's awesome.
And so, Lorena, what's one of the feelings that you get when you actually pass an exam? What's the overall benefit? I mean, what do you feel? I mean, do you feel like, okay, I'm ready to tackle the next one? Do you feel like, it's finally over? I mean, what is it that you're going through as far as?
I have both of those feelings. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so exhausted from all the studying. I need a break. But then you're like, well, if I achieve this, what else can I achieve? Because
Right.
you just you get motivated, and you want to see what else you can achieve. I mean, at least that's how I am, but not everybody's like me, and it's okay. Like, I've studied way more grueling than some of my colleagues, and they're like, you're crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a little over the top when it comes to studying, just a little bit, right? But I just enjoy it, and I feel myself personally, I feel like I'm a late bloomer. I feel like I've I was in a role as a permit technician for 17 years, and then you know I became a residential plans examiner, then CASP, and now CBO. So I just feel like I'm kind of a late bloomer. So for anything that I can share to help anyone, I'm always willing to help. In fact, I've had in going through the summit, I've actually had someone reach out to me on LinkedIn who I need to respond to, and they're like, "Hey, I'm going to be studying. Can you share some information with me?" So I want to reach back out to them and give them my phone number. Say, "Hey, call me. Let's have a conversation. How can I help?" Because I'm willing to help anybody. It's you need mentors, and you need peer mentors, and that's what I try to be for not only the team I manage in Redondo, but for our other team, our CodeComply Summit team, and just in general, overall, just try and be a good person and help people, because I've had so many good people help me in my career, and I just try and pay it forward.
Love that. It's what it's about, paying it forward. I mean, that's really what this summit is about, right? A bunch of individuals in this industry who've gotten together, who believe in, higher education, a higher power for code enforcement individuals, code enforcement professionals that, maybe it's not out there and hasn't been out there, those specialized courses, those certifications, and the true training related to what we actually do in our jobs. So I couldn't be more appreciative. I mean, we've heard the words groundbreaking, first of its kind, magical, for this summit, and it truly is. I mean, I couldn't think of a better place. I know most of you know we are in Orange County, but did you know that was Anaheim, where Disney's at? So when I got to go and meet with the hotel, you get to a whole different vibe for a conference like this. It's about codes, and it's about, how we can be successful in this environment, but it's also about family and about doing something different and groundbreaking. You can come enjoy the summit, but also come and bring your family and maybe go to Disney one of these days. I know that's what I'm doing. And I know this is a memory that my kids are going to, share it with me in forever, because it's not only a groundbreaking excitement, conference for me, it's something for them as well. So we appreciate your taking part in it, and we appreciate your being as magical as you are.
So, Lorena is part of the Wicked track, and Wicked is the Women in Code Enforcement and Development. And one of the things, that we pride ourselves on in the summit is bringing women who have unique skill and putting them in the same track and having different courses. Because we also do have a certification course. We have a class dedicated for preparing people for the IPMC, which is a code enforcement certificate, and the International Zoning Codes classes to take that exam. That class isn't focused on teaching you how to study, but teaching you the information that may be on the test, and helping you prepare and kind of give you a refresher on those particular codes. Where Lorena's class actually teaches you on study techniques and things like that, and
Right.
which is just as equally important. I can have all the knowledge in the world, but if I'm not preparing on the structure of exams, then that could be an issue. I mean, I can have all the knowledge in the world, but the time frames that are put on these tests aren't easy, or else everybody would be certified. They're designed to be technically proficient, and yeah, you can find the information, but if you don't know the information, it's going to be hard for you to start reading the book in the amount of time. So having a good game plan to tackling these are super excellent. This is one of the reasons why we have Lorena on there, part of our Wicked track, and she's sponsored by Wicked of California. And Rachel's doing a class. She's sponsored by Wicked as well, and on report writing and documentation. So I mean, it's a full on different variables on this summit. We have one dedicated for just new code enforcement officers learning about rights of entry. We have a full model codes which dedicated to the IRC, the how to do inspections, red tagging, on the certification when we have a class on drones, and we have a on how to tourniquets, and those kinds of things, and mental health, hoarding. We have so much in store, and we're so happy that Lorena's part of this summit. I was fortunate enough to moderate one of her classes for on how to teach on how to study, and I was like, wow, we need to have this class at a code enforcement conference, because that's not really ever offered. So we said, hey, we need this type of training at our conference. And uh, just being able to see how Lorena breaks it down and how easy. And one thing that doesn't get covered in these classes, Lorena, is how do you keep the right people in these study groups? Because everybody wants to say, yeah, I want to get my certificate, and they'll show up to one or two meetings, and then you never see them again. Or how do you keep people motivated? Or how do you even find a mentor? I mean, those are things that I don't know if you're going to share during your training, but those are kind of things that are interest people like myself and maybe Rachel. Do you have what else, Rachel?
That's exactly what I want to know, how she does it all, because she's just amazing. But yeah, those are the things that I would like to see covered too. So I know you don't have a huge time block, so you got to get it all into all that and just blow our minds, Lorena.
Yeah, you're right. No, I can definitely share that on finding a mentor. Like I said, I consider myself a late bloomer, and part of that was because those first 17 years as a permit technician, I was really in it. I care about my job. I care about helping people. I care about the quality of my work, and I was really in it. However, towards, I don't know, like 10 years, I was like, God, is this all I'm ever going to be? And I think a lot of that had to do with was I didn't have any mentorship at that time, and I really didn't know what that was. And then as I pivoted later, around the 17 year, I had gotten a really great mentor, a couple of them, and I was like, man, I can do this, And so I'm here to tell everybody, if I can do it, you can do it. You just got to be willing to put in the time to get it done. But yeah, finding great mentors. And then, Pete, what was the other thing you mentioned right now?
Just finding a mentor, and how do you keep people in the groups? How do you keep them motivated,
Keep
and
them
how do you
engaged.
keep them on track?
Yeah, and I think that's important, staying engaged and staying committed. You definitely, when I was studying for my CAS, we started a study group, and all of us, we were all in it. We wanted to get the certification. We studied together, and we all obtained our certification together. And, we didn't all pass at the same time, but even while some of us didn't pass, we still stayed engaged until all of us, we still studied together, even as, some of us passed, some of us didn't. And then we stayed together until everybody passed. And that was really cool and beautiful to see, because in order to stay engaged, I think one of the things that we did was every time we met, and we met once a week to study for 2 hours, and everybody had to, each time we showed up, everybody had to bring in like a sample project. So, and we had to participate. So it was really good to break down the code and see each person's perspective and how they interpret maybe a code section, and bounce things off of each other. So it becomes really collaborative. And I think you need to have that collaboration when you're in a study group in order to keep people accountable and keep people to showing up.
And one of the things that you brought up, Lorena, was if they can do it, I can do it too. But I remember say having a conversation with you, like I'm like, hey, are you gonna ever go for your CBO? And you're like, no, I'll never be a CBO. And I remember having that conversation with you, and you said, you know what, one day you're going to be a CBO, and you know what, and today you're a CBO teaching other CBOs and teaching others how to do the deal. One of the things I observe from you is surrounding yourself with people that are encouraging and engaging, and and things like that. So the fact that you're here, helping our organization out as ICC CSOC, helping us out and putting this thing together, and being part of it. To me, I mean, we have a debt of gratitude towards you, and knowing that your folks are going to be attending as well, and you're going to be attending and teaching. It's just an exciting times to where we mix in some of the ICC world and some of the code enforcement world, and say, hey, look, we work together, we work hand in hand, and we could always support one another. So that to me is such a benefit. And having Rachel just be the node connector in this whole thing, I can tell you, you've been such a blessing to our ICC chapter, Rachel, and just being a coordinator. And I know we don't really say much about that, but you've been such an awesome inspiration and help, and putting all this stuff together. Just making sure that we put we showcase our speakers and our sponsors and everything like that, because they're just important as the event. They're just as important. And Lorena, we have such a deal of great gratitude towards you, and I appreciate everything that you do for us and for the industry.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to both of you. Rachel, thank you so much. Being part of the CodeComply Summit and all the emails you send out and connecting us and giving us our deadlines to participate and get you the information you need. You're really on top of it. So you made this, you made being a part of the summit really easy. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate everything that you've done, and Pete, that you've done for the summit, and just getting the word out there and sharing so everybody can come together. And it's going to be an awesome networking event too. And just, that's a good time for people that are attending to find a mentor when you're there. You can find a peer mentor. You can collaborate with people and, network, get numbers. You don't know who you're going to meet at the summit, and that can help you in your career, or you can help someone else.
Right. Absolutely. I don't think people understand truly, what their presence does for the industry as a whole. So again, having you on today was such a pleasure, and thank you for all of the kind things that you said, Lorena. It's 100% exactly what you said about collaboration and connection. And when we have those key foundations, we can do anything with that. So I am very excited to take your class studying for ICC exams, Techniques for Success, which again is on the 22nd of July at 10:15 a.m. So I hope you are as excited as we are. And again, I couldn't be more grateful that you were the one to help us kick off this new series of showcasing vendors, speakers, sponsors, and anyone really who has something to do with the success of this awesome 2025 CodeComply Summit.
And one last thing, we'd like to thank our sponsors. We'd like to thank ICC, Granicus, Steric Clean, Four Leaf, Energy Code Ace, Ptolemy, Wicked of every chapter of Wicked. So Gemini Code Training Solutions, and the peer Rosemary Lidback firm. So we're going to be having a bunch of different people on there, but just want to say thank you to everybody that's actively participating in this summit and moving forward to create a standard for our national audience in code enforcement, and for them to get the right training and the right and seeking the right mentors and networking opportunities for them. In close to 5 minutes from the happiest place on earth. So, yeah.
Right. Well, thank you again. Please join us very soon for another episode of our CodeComply Connection, bringing our speakers, vendors, and anyone special to the summit to you. So we will say goodbye and sign off for today. Thank you so very much, Miss Lorena, for everything that you do. And I cannot wait to see you here in 30 plus days.
Yeah, it's coming up. Thank you.
Thank you.